Alright gamers, 6 Days in Fallujah is set to release into early access tomorrow at the price of $39.99 US. Because of that, today I wanted to talk about what to expect with the game and how the game is going to progress in development so you can know whether or not you want to spend your money on this. Times are tough, and you gotta be smart with your purchases. I've got an FAQ and a little fact sheet here in front of me that I'm gonna go through, and in the background you'll see some footage from submissions that you probably haven't seen before because the embargo we've had as creators just lifted today, so I'm able to show off a few things here and there. So, if you find this at all helpful to you, hit that like button. Let's get into it. First and foremost, for those of you that have never heard of this game before, 6 Days in Fallujah is a hardcore tactical shooter set to portray as accurately as possible the Second Battle of Fallujah in 2004. In order to do this, they've spoken to Marines, Iraqi soldiers, and Iraqi civilians to capture that intensity and historical significance appropriately. Once you start the game, there's a long intro about it, and it's very interesting to listen to. I was 14 at the time and was focused more on sports and girls than world affairs, so it was very interesting to hear some of these stories and hear some of the soldiers talk about their experience. But now let's get into what you get for your money if you buy 6 Days in Fallujah on day 1, and then we'll go into the future because I also have a roadmap here. Alright, day 1, early access. You hop into this menu here. There's only one option you can select right now, and in this menu you can either hop into a co-op match by looking for games, looking for other players, you can host your own match and bring your friends in from Steam or Epic, or you could just try to go solo. At this point though, there are no friendly AI in the game, but they're hopefully going to be here soon. If you go solo, you're going to have a tough time, just know that. The early access phase is expected to be a little over a year, but we kind of all know how that goes. Bugs happen, the world gets crazy, things get delayed, so take that with a grain of salt from any developer. Now, as you've seen in one of my previous videos, the squad size can be up to 4 players, with each getting a different kind of kit. And as of right now, there's no weapon customization, really because there weren't a ton of variants back then, apparently. But there are 4 main roles that you can take on during the mission. You've got team leader being one of them, and that'll be the guy with the highest rank in your team. He's got an M16 with an ACOG, there's a rifleman with the same, there's a gunner with an M249 saw, and an assistant gunner with an M16 without that ACOG scope, as well as a shotgun. They've also all got different tactical equipment like grenades and smoke grenades, so you'll see that when you get into the game. Now, one of the biggest draws to this game, and appropriately so in my opinion, is the procedurally generated environments that they're going to be using with the architecture. So while you may be hopping into the same mission with the same objectives, you're going to be seeing a different map every single time. You're not going to be able to memorize a route to get there or memorize how you did it last time. You're going to have to mix it up a little bit. However, if you do fail the mission and you hit retry, it's going to be the same mission from that. So as long as you're still in that same mission, it's going to be the same mission, but as soon as you hop out into the menu, you're going to see a different mission. Hopefully this is going to offer a ton of free playability. With something like Ready or Not, yes, the AI are a little bit different and a little bit more advanced, and they may spawn in different locations, but you're basically going to have the same setup every single time. So this is going to be an interesting take on it. I think it's a really cool way to do things. Now, the game is heavily focused on teamwork, and it is a hardcore experience that you're definitely not going to survive, especially trying to go solo. I will link a gameplay video in my description so you know what to expect of the gameplay, but teamwork is an absolute must. You're not going to make it if you try to branch out from your team and just fly solo. Now, in regards to what you're going to get with the map, this is only the northern part of Fallujah. As early access progresses, you're going to move southern in Fallujah, so things are going to change up a little bit. You'll see a few different buildings, some different kind of architectures, some different landmarks, but everything that you get when you purchase day 1 is going to be the northern part of Fallujah. So that's why areas are going to look familiar for sure, but again, procedurally generated maps are going to make things a little bit more spicy every single time. As you'll notice, you won't see any civilians that sort of shoot on sight here, though they are expected to be in a future update. However, it is noted that 90% of the civilians had left the city before the battle began, so there weren't that many left inside the city during the battle. But when they do come in the game, it's going to be a whole new level of difficulty and choices. Along these lines, I've seen this question a lot, you will never play as an insurgent in the game. Instead, you'll play as some Iraqi soldiers sometimes, but never the insurgents. And so that's kind of it for day 1. That's sort of what you get for that. In my opinion, as a guy that likes hardcore tactical shooters, it's a great purchase because of some of the things that it brings to the table, especially, again, that procedurally generated environment. I think that's a good step forward in tactical shooters. I think that that's a crazy way to implement things. And if more games can do something like that, that would be fantastic. Hardly any other game does that. I know Due Process does that, but the graphics there are a little bit different. So you're going to have to make that call yourself. If you've got 40 bucks lying around that you really feel like getting into a hardcore immersive experience, this is a good game for it. All right, now we're going to go to the future of this game. I've got a roadmap here. I will link everything down below. You can see some of the documents that I have right in front of me. That way you'll know if I missed something and get a little bit more of a background, because I don't go through all of this, just the main points that maybe you may not know. But the future roadmap here, during early access, there will be new missions added. There'll be some different weather, different times of day, and different enemy types. You'll also have AI teammates like I talked about before, and you will use a go command. As a primarily solo gamer, this is what I'm looking forward to. They help me out a lot in Ready or Not because I send them forward into rooms like little lemmings just to understand the danger of the situation. So that's probably what I'll do here too. Again, I know I already said that civilians will be added to the game, but they're going to be in the game as well as playing as an Iraqi soldier. This one sounds fun here. Special ops missions with unique weapons, vehicles, and gear will be added into the game as well. So you're not going to be just stuck with an M16 with an ACOG. There are going to be some different twists with that. So that's kind of cool. Don't know what that's going to look like. That's awesome though. And then they're going to have a story campaign. I'm excited about this one as well. It's going to allow you to take on certain roles with real people in accurately recreated missions. One of the things I really like about games like this, in life in general, is storytelling. This is a good way to tell a story for people, especially like me, that were 14 at the time, that don't know a whole lot about the situation. So that really puts you into the situation, provides an immersive atmosphere, and can teach you things along the way. I like that part. And then it's not listed here on the roadmap, but when it comes to console release, this game will be on consoles. They are currently working on the console version as they're working on the PC version here, but that's not going to come until the full release after the early access launch. So when that full release gets here, that's when it's going to be on PS5 and Xbox One now, One X. I don't know exactly what Xbox is right now. I haven't even kept up with the console world. It doesn't matter to me, but it will be on consoles. And so that's what I'm looking forward to with all of that and sort of what there is in this game. I would say the current build is a great foundation for the future of the game, and the game is probably the hardest game I've played against AI, especially solo. Good luck with that, solo gamers. I'll link the game down below, as well as the FAQ and game information pamphlets that give you a little bit more information. Feel free to take a peek to see if I missed anything. But that's all for this one. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you want to support me, you can pick up some gray focused energy from my website. That is my energy drink. That's the best way to support me, actually. It helps you with your energy and it helps me financially. So definitely pick one of those up. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, be bold, be courageous, stay gray.